Atheist doesn't exist.
Well, that was fast. And I can't say I don't appreciate someone who doesn't get right to the stupid, but still, so efficient. And yeah, don't they? Because I'm pretty sure me and the vast majority of my audience are in fact real. Except for that guy Steve. There's always been something distinctly unreal about him.
Not that I'm saying that anyone that is an atheist is not a real person or someone that is fake or not existing.
I just love that you felt the need to clarify that. I said it as a joke, but our new best friend here assumes that everyone is as dumb as he is, and made sure to explain because of it. No, mate. I'm sure you mean atheism isn't real, for whatever completely asinine reason, but again, thanks for not raising our expectations by even a single millimeter.
It's just that I do believe that the term atheist isn't described properly.
Person who doesn't believe in God. Wow, that was fucking hard. Are you sure that it's not described properly and that it isn't in fact fucking fine? Because that is its definition more or less. And that you simply don't like it for whatever reason. Maybe because you're as dumb as that statement makes you sound, or maybe you're trying to make it sound like something different so that you can attack the straw man version of atheism that you just built. Because it's so much easier than refuting something that is literally inside their fucking heads and thus is essentially impossible to refute. Basically, an atheist is an atheist because they're a fucking atheist.
Well, if we look at how it is described normally, it says that an atheist isn't someone that has any religious beliefs.
No, it's not. That is utterly incorrect. You know, it's both hilarious and kind of shocking that you came to that conclusion. I mean, if you think about it for even a second, and you know anything about any philosophy ever, you would know that there are in fact religions that are atheistic. That is to say, religious ideas with zero gods in them. But they're still religions. And of course, many atheists don't subscribe to any religion. So maybe that's why you thought that was the definition. But it only shows your complete lack of comprehension of the topic. God damn.
And as well as that is a good description of what an atheist is, it doesn't mean that the term religious beliefs is something that is described properly in the context of how it should be handled.
Well, it's not a good description. It is in fact a very, very, very bad description because it doesn't describe a non-trivial number of atheists, and it also doesn't even bring up the thing that makes them atheists. And the rest of that sentence, something that is described properly in the context of how it should be handled, is frankly fucking word salad and doesn't mean anything, which is kind of ironic.
What I mean by this is that many people think that the religious beliefs means that you have to pray to something, or you have to follow orders, or you have to obey something.
No, dipshit. Those are religious practices, not religious beliefs. It's the belief part that's kind of important. Although, to be fair, most religious adherents do, in fact, do a bunch of that shit. And if they don't, they are not considered, practicing members of their faith, which is generally thought of as them not doing the religion properly. I mean, if you believe in Jesus, but you don't read the Bible or pray to the guy or any of the other stuff associated with Christianity, you're just kind of a fan of the dude and not much else.
Or you have to sort of be a person that you aren't.
What are you talking about? You just be a person that believes in the thing, which if you believe in the thing precisely describes what you are. And even if the religion as a whole has rules to follow, there's no religion that I know of that tells you to be a person that you aren't, but that you should try to live up to certain ideals. And in fact, it's often written that you're almost certainly going to fail at that task. This dude not only knows nothing about atheism, he clearly knows nothing about any goddamn religion.
Better describe that you have to follow a very specific set of rules, set of regulations and things. And there are things that you can and can't do, which is completely incorrect.
Hey, did you know this idiotic definition I just made up and that no one fucking uses is wrong? Aren't I a clever boy? I mean, he's not incorrect, but it's like me telling you that the definition of car is a delicious snack eaten mainly between 2 and 3 p.m. But that's actually wrong, because you can eat a car whenever you want, but you will need at least 2 hours to do so instead of just 1.
The best way I am able to describe what a religious belief is that is the solution or the answer that you think or that you believe in that has happened, and the reason for everything that is happening.
Wow, it took me a minute to discern what the fuck he was even trying to say there. As far as I can tell, he's saying that religion is what you think made something happen, which as a definition for a religion goes is not only completely fucking useless, it's also missing a bunch of shit that the vast majority of people associate with religious beliefs. I mean, sure, you can take out the God part, even if most people would expect it, but to strip out the supernatural entirely, the idea of worship, having faith in things, sacred objects or texts, leaves you with a quote-unquote definition that describes literally everything as a religion. Why did this ball fall to the floor? Because of gravity. My religion. The fuck?
In short, it means just that it is another type of explanation of what you think happened to everything inside of our universe.
Well, at least you know how to say it without resorting to gibberish. And again, no, that's not a religion. That is an explanation. We have a word for that. And explanations are not religions. Frankly, a religion isn't even on its own an explanation. It may or may not contain explanations for certain things, but that doesn't make the religion itself the explanation. In fact, certain sects will have different explanations while under the umbrella of an overall idea that they all likely follow. I mean, get some young and old Earth creationists in a room and you just watch the teeth fly. Again, this explanation posits fucking physics as a religion, which is not only incredibly reductive, but also doesn't mean anything.
So, with that said, now let me describe to you why I think atheist isn't something that is correctly termed.
Well, considering that atheism is in no way an explanation for fucking anything other than what's in a person's head, I really don't know how atheism isn't termed correctly. It's not supposed to be an explanation for where anything in the universe comes from. It doesn't even need to explain why the atheist is an atheist. It's just a descriptive term for a person who doesn't believe in God.
Because if we are talking about religious beliefs, then it means that it is something that you believe that is what happened.
Atheists believe atheism is what happened. No, I don't think so. At best, atheists think that atheism accurately describes one facet of reality, aka that there is no God, but that's exclusionary. It doesn't replace the idea of God creating the universe with something else. It simply discounts one idea. It does not introduce any others, because it doesn't fucking have to.
So if we're talking about science, as in the evolutionary theory, as in the Big Bang and everything, and how we came to be and how the universe started and everything.
Are you fucking joking, my dude? 1. Atheism and science are not synonyms. You can be an atheist without accepting thing 1 of science at all. And second, many theists understand and accept many, sometimes all, scientific explanations for the universe. Though that's a third thing that you don't understand in any way, shape or form. Are we going for 4?
Is all of those theories, in a way, is a type of religion.
Fucking no! Again, you are confusing explanations for something with having a faith-based belief systems with ritual and all sorts of other shit that a religion really does need to be a religion, with a methodology for discovering facts about the universe. Facts that, mind you, can actually be demonstrated to be true, unlike religious claims, which cannot and will never be because they are by their nature bullshit. These are not the same thing, not even close, and no matter how hard you try to skew the definitions, they never will be.
Because it was made by a person, it wasn't someone that was there and was able to give you the definite answers, but it was someone who wrote everything down and made his own theory about how everything happened.
This is by far the stupidest thing that you have said up to this point. Not only is it completely idiotic to claim that because we write down our science, that somehow makes it a religious idea, which is frankly just nonsense, but also completely misses the fact that if we didn't write anything down, we couldn't do fucking science. It's like a really important step. And lastly, this is also a tacit admission that religions are kind of bullshit because they're written by people. Seriously, how did you manage to fuck this up that hard?
If you are a person that believes that science, evolutionary theory, Big Bang theory, all of that is what happened in the universe, and you are claiming yourself an atheist, then you are wrong.
Exactly which part of those things is any kind of God? Because for the life of me, I don't think it's any of them, mate. In fact, that someone could make such an incredibly obvious category error leads me to believe that there definitely is no God. Because no all-powerful creature could make something or someone that fucking stupid. It's just impossible.
Because your religion is science.
Wrong, because put simply, science isn't a fucking religion. It in no way meets any of the requirements that any reasonable person would place on something to call it a religion. And it explains things and is written down, therefore it's a religion, means that the fucking conclusions of a court case is a religion. The manual for a car is a religion. The piece of paper inside your head that says don't mind all the empty space, we'll put the brain in later, is a fucking religion. Especially as that last one is simply a fundamental fact about reality.
Science doesn't have any type of upper hand upon any religion, as well as it is said upon the whole educational system that is what happened.
Holy fuck, you are a moron. It absolutely has an upper hand. It is based in reality. This is just astounding, and you sound like a fucking creationist. Science shouldn't be taught in schools without teaching my bullshit as well. No, fuck off. Science is the culmination of all the knowledge we have gained to explain reality. Religion is a bunch of shit made up by assholes with the sole purpose of getting you to do as you're told. Again. These are not the same things.
It is definitely not accurate in any type of way, because the people who created the evolutionary theory and so on, they didn't have any evidence besides upon the fact that they wrote it.
This is, without a doubt, one of the most insanely ignorant things that I think I've ever fucking heard. You think that there's no evidence for any of science whatsoever. How? Why? Who fucking told you this? I mean, you're clearly not smart enough to think for yourself, because otherwise you would never have stated this utter garbage. So someone must have told it to you. No, again, science is the culmination of evidence. Every single thing that is considered a part of science has so much evidence for it, it'd make your fucking head spin. And even if we ignore that fact, you can know science is onto something because science works. Science does stuff. The fact that you are able to make this video with a camera and upload it to the internet to prove to the world what a fucking galactic brain melt you are is a testament to the fact that science does work. If it didn't, we wouldn't fucking use it. The same way that no fucker on this planet has ever launched a rocket into space using Psalms.
They are the ones who created the whole thing.
Also, they fucking who? The wizards? The only they that created science is countless numbers of scientists over an incredible amount of time, using unending effort, making mountains of discoveries about how the everything works. And to dismiss them as just some guys who said so is so completely intellectually dishonest that I wouldn't believe someone said it unless they were an apologist. Because frankly, all they do is lie about shit that makes their book, though, sound stupid, which is, of course, literally everything.
And that is the only evidence that they actually have upon everything that happened. If you compare the science and if you compare it compared to any normal type of religion, then you would see there are pros and cons upon every one of them.
Okay then, fair enough. Let's go through the pros and cons of religion versus science. Let's start with science. Pros. It can be used to explain things. The conclusions it comes to are repeatable, so even if you know nothing about an aspect of it, if you follow the methodology, you will eventually come to the exact same outcome. It has saved countless lives, made things better for basically every person alive today in some fashion, and being a scientist immediately increases your sex appeal by 100%. Cons. Science is quite hard. Religion. Bro, religion is really fucking easy. If you're a moron who doesn't understand how anything works, then just be religious. Every explanation is a dumb, stupid ass one that boils down to God did it. And you can even carry on benefiting from the science that you don't believe in, because believing bullshit should never have consequences. No. Cons, you're a fucking idiot.
As in any type of religion would be able to describe to you why this thing is how it is now and why it was different before, and that is exactly the same thing that science is doing as well.
Even if we grant this for the sake of argument, there is a fundamental difference. The explanations religion gives are fairy tale nonsense. They are either obviously demonstrably bullshit, or they are utterly unfalsifiable, which, since you definitely don't know what that is, it's a bad thing. If you can't prove something wrong, that means you can't prove it right either, and effectively makes it total bollocks. Whereas science is entirely falsifiable, and anything that isn't literally is not science. Every idea can be proven wrong, and they try really hard to do so. And when something is shown to be incorrect, it is then fixed until there's basically no holes left in whatever idea. And then you'll have something that is more or less an absolute cast iron fact. I will never tire of telling you that these things are not comparable.
I always say science, and I don't mean like physics and so on. I just mean, if I say science, then I just in general mean evolution and Big Bang and all of those things combined.
The Big Bang is basically just physics. You essentially said, when I say science, I don't mean science, I mean science. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, apart from everything. Is it any wonder that I think that you're a gibbering loon?
But regardless, if you think that is what happened, then still that is your religious beliefs. Because no matter what you tell me, there is no argument upon the fact that
you're a fucking dumbass who has absolutely no idea what he's talking about, and especially what the hell religious belief even means, as proven over and over and over again in this very video that you made and chose to upload to the internet for some goddamn reason. Yes, finally, something we can agree on.
Science, and as I said, the evolutionary theory, Big Bang, and all of that is a type of religion because it is also made by a person, the same as any type of other religion that we have.
You know, I'm not 100% sure if you're actually religious or if you're something far, far worse. A goddamn fence sitter. And I don't mean in a hasn't made a choice yet type of way, but someone who thinks that their inability to distinguish between two obviously very different concepts, one of which is also obviously and objectively more correct, and somehow thinks that makes you better than both sides, when it actually makes you too stupid to even choose the wrong path. It's genuinely fucking pathetic.
So it's impossible for you to describe yourself as an atheist if you are someone that already has a belief of something that happened.
No, and the only thing that's impossible to describe anyone as is you as a competent person who knows anything about anything. But that is only because you may very well be the biggest fuckwit I've ever had the displeasure of having to interact with. Bye!